Do you find that your dog lacks focus? Are you struggling to get your dog's attention? Well, if you answered yes, then you're in the right place. And in today's video, we're gonna go over 7 easy steps to begin teaching your dog to focus no matter what's going on. So let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to Awoken K9 TV, your #1 source for all things dog training. If this is your first time on this channel, my name is Brian with Awoken K9, and on this channel we focus on all things dog training, so if you're new, consider subscribing. So why would you want to teach your dog to focus in the first place? Well, if you aren't able to get your dog's attention, any sort of direction you give your dog is probably going to go out the window. Think about it this way. Have you ever been in a position where you're just walking your dog and your dog just suddenly gets interested or fixated in something in their environment? Whether it's a smell on the ground, under the dog, or maybe it's a squirrel. Your dog is so intensely focused on whatever it is in the environment that when you ask your dog to perform a behavior, whether it's sit, down, come, or just get your dog's attention, you'll notice that your dog is so intensely focused that whatever sort of direction you're trying to communicate to your dog, it's going in one ear and going straight out the other, right? So if that's happening, it's because you want to focus on attention before direction. Remember, if we don't have our dog's attention, any sort of direction we give our dog is probably going to go straight out the window. Now you may be wondering, why does my dog lack focus in the first place? And the answer is pretty simple. Because in your dog's eyes, the environment is way more relevant and rewarding than just paying attention to you. That leaves us as their owners competing for our dog's attention whenever they're focused on things they rather do. So if you're curious on how to begin shifting that from having your dog focus on their environment and building your dog's focus on you, their owner, follow along as we go over 7 easy steps you can do today to begin building your dog's focus. Step 1 is eye contact. The first thing we want to work on with our dogs is being able to get their eyes on us. Once we have our dog's eyes, everything else is a bit easier, right? Because now we're not competing with your dog being focused on a squirrel, another dog, or just a small on the ground. Once we have our dog's eyes, everything else falls into place. So step 1 is learning how to get your dog's eye contact. Here's how to begin building your dog's eye contact. First and foremost, only reward your dog when he's looking at your face. A lot of times whenever we hold treats on our hands, many dogs tend to fixate on our hands, and as owners, what do? We just give them the treat. Instead, make sure that you work on teaching your dog that, hey, even though I have a piece of food or even though I have a toy in my hand, the reward only comes after you give me your eyes. That begins teaching your dog that paying attention to your face may lead to a reward, not staring at your hands. Now that you've been working on teaching your dog to give you their eyes, step 2 is to start off in a low distraction environment. Think about it. You want to make it as easy as possible for your dog to be successful. If your dog isn't able to give you their eye contact and focus in a low distraction environment like their living room, make sure you don't go to a high distraction environment like a middle of a parade and expect your dog to focus on you. Always start off in low distraction environment and then gradually increase the difficulty as your dog progresses. Step 3 is to become more rewarding than the environment. So if you want your dog to begin focusing on you more than the environment, whether it's the grass, another dog, a person, or just a squirrel, one of the most important parts that you have to be doing is learning to become more rewarding than the environment at hand. So think about it. If every single day you go on a walk and all your dog's outlet is, instead of interacting with you, is playing with another dog, playing with other people, all those interactions, all they have in common is that every single piece of that interaction occurs away from you. It has nothing to do with. Why don't you cut time where you interact with your dog and make it worth your dog's while to begin giving you his attention? Because if you don't, then your dog is simply gonna go sniffing this grass right here. It's really more rewarding than just giving you my eyes. And we want to shift that so yeah, your dog goes, wow, I can't wait to give you my attention because every time I do, good things happen. Now step 4 is a continuation of step 3. Just like you want to become more rewarding than their environment, you want to make paying attention to you fun. So that long term, regardless of which environment you're in, whether you're presented with another dog or another person, a squirrel, a cat, no matter what's in their environment, when you ask for your dog's attention, your dog has no issue giving it to you because he knows every single time he gives you his attention, good things happen. He'll also understand that paying attention to you is way more rewarding and fun than just sniffing the smell on the ground. Step 5, reward your dog's attention. So there's gonna come a moment when you're progressing through this that your dog is naturally gonna start offering you his attention. When that moment comes, you want to be prepared to reward your dog at that given moment. Meaning that at every single moment when you're training your dog, you want to have rewards on you so that whenever your dog offers the right behavior and give you his attention in a context where he normally would struggle, make it worth his while and reward him. But one of the most important parts whenever you're rewarding your dog, again, we touched on this a little earlier, is to make sure that you reward your dog the moment he looks at your eyes and not stare at your hand. Step 6, learn to understand what your dog naturally finds rewarding and what he wants, and use that to your advantage. So, for instance, if you know that your dog wants to walk out the door, instead of just letting your dog pull out the door, why don't you ask your dog to sit and give you his eyes and then walk through the door, right? At that moment, what you're really doing is using, hey, I know you want to go outside, it's not an issue. What I want you to do is just give me your eyes first and then we could go outside. The same thing occurs whenever you want your dog to sniff something. Instead of allowing your dog to just pull you when they want to sniff something, why don't you teach your dog to, hey, instead of pulling me there, why don't you give me your eyes, and then there's the opportunity where you can do that. The more you do that, the more your dog will begin to understand that, hey, if he gives you his eyes and he gives you his attention, he could get access to what he wants in the world. Step 7 is playing with your dog. The more you play with your dog, the more your dog will begin to focus on you. Play is a natural drive for every animal. Every single animal wants to play in the world once they have their natural needs met. Playing is a great way to begin teaching your dog to focus on you, because when you play with your dog, the best part about it is you teach your dog to focus on you whenever he is in an excited state of mind, which is critical in everyday scenarios. Yes, you still want to reward your dogs with food, but you also want to play. So instead of focusing on teaching your dog to sit, lay down, come when called, all those good stuff, yes, they are important, but instead of working on that and asking behaviors of your dog, just take your dog out to different environments and just focus on just playing with your dog. Your dog will let you know how much he can handle. You want to start off with short little sessions and then gradually increase it. The same goes for whenever you're using food to reward your dogs. With everything in this video, the most important part, you want to start off in slow little increments and build it up there. Notice how throughout this whole video, I did not say once to ask your dog to sit, lay down, come. There's no reason to ask your dog for commands, because again, we want to focus on attention before direction. Once we have all of that, all the commands that we want to teach our dogs all fall into place, because at this point, we won't be competing with other things in the environment that your dog rather do. If you guys enjoyed this video, I'm pretty sure you're gonna enjoy this one. It goes over how to begin teaching your dog how to play fetch step by step, and I'll see you in that video.